10 months ago, I weighed 305 pounds. I was 48 years old. I was as heavy and as unhealthy as I had ever been. And I had tried a number of plans along the way, and I just couldn't get myself healthy. It wasn't until I talked to my doctor and I learned about Zepbound and started the Zepbound program that it really became possible for me 10 months later to lose 65 pounds, down to 240. And I went from a very unhealthy bad bod into a more acceptable dad bod as I continue my progress here. And eating has always really been an issue for me. I love to eat. I never really get full, have a lot of food noises all day, but it was not a real health issue for me until I was in my early 20s. I was very active. I played sports all throughout college and high school. And it wasn't until I got a full-time office job, I got married, I had kids, and my lifestyle became a lot more sedentary, but my eating habits didn't really change at all. In fact, they probably got worse because with kids around, there was a lot of snacks and leftovers, and there's desserts and treats, and they always loved going out to eat. I love going out to eat, so I probably ended up eating more than I used to and doing less other than chasing them around or coaching them in sports. So it became an issue. I gradually gained weight over 10, 15 years. I went from a large to an extra large to a double XL. I went from 240 to 260 to 280, and then I finally last year eclipsed the 300-pound mark where I really became concerned as I was 48 heading 49 that maybe it was becoming too late for me. But that's when I talked to my doctor, and it's very important, I believe, to go to your doctor, get your blood work done, talk to them about the different things. Being overweight is not just unhealthy from cholesterol or heart rate, but I was diagnosed with sleep apnea. I have a non-alcoholic fatty liver. I also have a thyroid disorder. I believe a lot of these are related to just carrying the extra weight for so long. And visceral fat of itself is very dangerous to carry for any extended period of time. So I talked to my doctor and started on Zepbound. And the beautiful thing about Zepbound that I didn't realize until I started taking it, that it really minimizes or silences the food noises. And that was something I didn't even know was possible. I had always blown past any kind of full signal or hunger signal. I remember there's some advice to just stop eating when you feel full. And I never really hit that switch. I never felt full. I could eat an entire dinner, two dinners a lot growing up at my girlfriend's house, my house, or when I was married, I'd stop for fast food on the way home from work and then eat dinner when I got here, and then usually have a full dessert at the end. I just really never felt full. I was just always enjoying food, the taste of it. I'd eat different things. I love donuts, I love ice cream, I love French fries, I love hot wings, pretty much anything. And I just would eat a lot of food and eat a lot all day. And Zepbound really changed that. Not only do the food noises go away, but I now eat what I consider normal portions. I would just go out and order a standard meal. Sometimes I don't even finish my meal. I find myself eating almost no sandwiches because the bread just fills me up, but I really would rather get the protein and some fiber. It's not like I substituted things for salads. I did that in the past, try to eat a lot of salads, but there's no real calories in there, so I'd still find myself hungry anyway. So I'd eat a big salad, and then I'd eat a cheesesteak, and then maybe I'd go get a milkshake or sundae or something like that. So now, really, the body's kind of self-regulating, probably more the way it's supposed to, where I'll eat a meal, I'll feel full, it'll last for hours. I'm not wandering around the kitchen looking in the cabinet for snacks. I used to stop at the food store or the convenience store and pick up little donuts or Tasty Claire pies, or I'd stop at Dunkin' and get a donut with my coffee and sandwich. And just rather than it being sheer willpower, which I had tried for so many times, Zepbound really just makes it feel natural and it feels easy. And in fact, the main thing I had to do, because my caloric intake went down so much, was to really prioritize protein to minimize the muscle loss and really to help the satiation. I don't eat chips. I don't like fries that much. I really don't like the side snacks I used to eat a ton of because they're just not satisfying. And since I'm not eating as much, I want to eat something that satisfies me. And probably the main difference, as opposed to actually counting calories, I started tracking my food closely in the first few weeks just to make sure my fiber intake was staying up. That's something I noticed that's actually really difficult to do unless you're doing fiber intentionally. And you'll really notice, at least I really noticed, what my fiber was too low, because it really affected my GI response. And the main solution to that was just eating fiber. We found this company called Royal. They make a high fiber bread that's delicious. I eat their bagels for breakfast a lot. We're just trying to factor in. I have some lentils now, black beans, just trying to find foods that have fiber throughout the day. And I found that really does help. The great thing about being on Zepbound was that it made the caloric deficit very natural and sustainable. And that was something I had struggled with on any diet plan I've tried in the past. Going through sheer willpower and trying to maintain a healthy diet decision process for any long period of time is really difficult to do. And Zepbound really, besides eliminating the food noises, helped me keep my portions down and just helped me get through a day eating just a smaller amount of calories. So I didn't really have to change the rest of my lifestyle much at all. I didn't exercise much more. I'm not much more active, or I wasn't for the first 8 months or so. It was winter time and I just was working and living like normal. Started to work out a little bit more. That's the next stage, is to try to recomposition a bit more. But mainly I'm just happy to have lost the unhealthy fat. And really what changed month to month as I looked back on it was the percentage of fat that you lose, of weight that you lose. The first 2 months were my highest 2 months. I think they were around 16 and 14 pounds each, but that was around 4 to 6%, I believe, of my body weight at the time. And then the next 2 to 3 months were around 3 to 5% of total body weight. And now I'm losing between 2 and 4. It really depends. The body isn't linear. I check the scale often, but it really doesn't change week to week, sometimes over the month. But it's really helpful to track for that reason, just so you can look back and actually see your progress without it feeling like you haven't done much. It's great to see a chart go down over time. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it is, but it really does move. So the first 6 months were probably the best. The last 2 to 4 months have been a lot slower. They feel a lot slower, but I feel like visually they're actually, you start to see the results, even though the scale's not moving as quickly. And it'd probably be helpful if you're starting your journey to actually measure your waist as well, so you have another data point. If the scale's not being super friendly, you might notice, like I noticed, I'm down 2 t-shirt sizes and 2 inches in my waist, which is great. So the health markers have gotten a lot better now too. I've been taking my blood work periodically. My cholesterol was elevated. It wasn't high, but it was elevated, and that's on its way down. I'm getting some more tests done. I'm getting another sleep study done to see if my sleep apnea still persists, if I need to keep my CPAP or not. And also I'm hoping that my fatty liver is trending in the right direction as well. So just feeling much better overall. I think visceral fat is a real big problem that isn't talked about enough. The weight is one thing, the buying bigger clothes, being out of shape and out of breath and not being as energetic is definitely a symptom, but I feel like the visceral fat that you build up, especially once your belly gets a lot bigger and you're carrying that around, is a real negative health marker, and it's something you really need to be careful of. I feel like that was really pushing me in the wrong direction, in addition to the joint pain and the tendons and things like that. So what I'm hoping to do next, as I mentioned earlier, is to lift more frequently. I'm lifting 2 to 3 times a week. I'm hoping that's enough to do some recompositioning. I'm probably gonna have to eat a little bit more protein to help it move things into more muscle mass and less fat without getting my calories out of control. But Zepbound really does help put a ceiling on caloric intake. There's only so much I can eat in a day, unless I were to just kind of go crazy on the sweets that I love still. But I still found myself getting full even on those. But it's really best to eat higher protein meals, just so you feel more satisfied at the time. But I'm looking to get into my goal weight around 220 to 225 by summertime, so stay tuned, subscribe, see how I'm doing. I'll post more updates as we get closer to that. And then my longer term goal is to get back on the volleyball court by the time I'm 50 at the end of the year. That's something I'm excited to do if my health will allow it. Hopefully I wasn't overweight for too long that I can't do that anymore, but I used to play volleyball in high school and college. I love volleyball, and it's something I'll see if I can get back on the court at 50 years old. So stay tuned to the channel, see how it's going. If you're starting your own Zepbound journey or you have been on one, let me know how you're doing in the comments, or if you've been thinking about doing it and maybe haven't talked to your doctor yet. put some questions down there. I can't give you health advice, but I can definitely let you know how it's worked out for me. And I would definitely recommend just talking to your primary care about your concerns. And most likely you can find a GLP-1 that can help you get some healthy results as well.